Hi friends, Kim here of Abundant Life Tarot. We are doing my 2024 deck haul video, and I decided to do it live. It's easier for me just to do a little parade of the decks I got in 2024 right here for you and me for our live stream haul video. So I'm going to go ahead and get right to it. All right, friends. So yes, I was in a low buy year. Won't hash that out too much. But what a low buy year means is that I tried to stick to a budget. I went $45 over that budget. But I still managed to get quite a few decks. Two were gifted to me, and the rest were ones I purchased. I think I purchased 10 decks, and my budget was 250 US dollars. I spent $295. But I'm happy. All of the decks I'm happy I have in my collection because I did end up using them quite a bit more than I expected. So there we go. Now, let's get to it. We're going to start with Oracle. And I'm going to go right to Oracle. So I have this one. This is one of the first Oracle decks I got. So this was the Occupations Oracle. I wanted to get something that would pick up on occupations that people may want to explore or occupations to help identify a particular person that may be coming into someone's life, or if the parent had a question, like it could help identify this person, who could this person be, and also like mysterious circumstance readings. It could help identify someone who had a past occupation or a current occupation or even a future one. So I have this deck and I used it quite a bit, surprisingly enough. You know, it seems probably super specific, but it's not. Technology, and then it has keywords. It says coder, web developer, networking, cybersecurity, telecommunications. I like that it had the different prompts that you could start to go in different directions on what technology could be. All right. Same with the agriculture card: raising livestock, beekeeping, farm, and crop cultivation. It works great in readings that I would do on, for client readings, as well as when I do readings on the channel for like mysterious circumstance type of situations. I would sometimes be called to pull this deck out. Writing. It says columnist, author, editor, copywriter, and transcriptionist. News media, reporter, journalist, videographer, and producer. So it's all encompassing. And I got this, I'm pretty sure I ordered this off of Etsy versus the creator's website. V Love and Crystals. She has a channel here on YouTube. She is the creator of many a deck. And so it was great to have one of her decks in my collection. Beauty care, hairstylist, nail specialist, makeup artist, body painter, building maintenance. So, I mean, it covers all sorts of occupations. So that is the Occupations Oracle. And sometimes when I have a need for a specific niche kind of deck, I'll just make my own. Make playing cards, but sometimes I don't have time for that to make a deck. It's helpful to be able to order one. All right, so The next oracle deck that I purchased, was the Wandering Soul Oracle. This is an indie deck. It goes with my collection from the same creator, and it's lovely. Vulnerable. So great. Oh, consciousness. I love this card so much. It is a moth, and it says find the light. Luck. Metamorphosis. Close the lid. I'm hoping to use this deck a bit more in, the coming years to come. And really, you can use this with any tarot deck if you're, someone into pairings. Yes, it's black and white, but it's got universal keywords that can apply to many different types of readings. You have connection, escape, an illusion, Genesis. What I'll do is if I have a walkthrough of the deck or some sort of video attached to the deck, I'll put it in the description box below so you can see a full flip through. And it does come with a guidebook. Oh, I love thoughts. So yes, low buy year, but I still managed to get a few decks. Okay. Next up for Oracle is the Prism Oracle. Move on to that one. Tap into your intuition with the magic of color. And I got this deck with a specific purpose in mind. And that was because in one of my reading labs that I do each month in my Ko-fi membership, we all meet up on Zoom once a month, the last Saturday of the month. And I will, mentor or teach on a topic related to cartomancy. And we were exploring color. And I wanted a deck devoted to color. And I looked high and low for all the different colors decks out there. And this one fit the bill. It's, mass market produced. It's actually gorgeous for the price. And I haven't beat up the gilding yet. And it ended up being way more of a universal deck, all-rounder than I expected it to be. I got it for a specific purpose to teach on, mentor on, and then it ended up being a deck that I enjoy using in readings for myself or readings for others. Here's the card backs, and I showed you the gilding. I'm obsessed with the gilding. Oh my gosh. Hello. Rejection. Rest. Mystery. Fear. Reflection. Death. It's got a great guidebook too, by the way. So even if you're not so into color like some of us are, the keywords in the guidebook alone makes this a worthy purchase. And it was like under $20 US. Like I think I paid $16 or $17 for this deck. And I end up using it way more than I did expect. So that's a win. Protection. intuition, love. So different shades of pinks, different shades of even blacks, oranges. Oh, Osita is going crazy. Ideation. When I'm looking for oracle decks, I'm always paying attention to the keywords and to make sure that there's some sort of variance to those keywords before I add another deck, because a lot of times with oracle decks, it can become redundant on the keywords. This alone was like a standout to me. A word like ideation. I mean, I have all sorts. I love this one, surrender. So you have like the, the geometric shapes as well. It's a good deck. It actually, and then what ended up happening was I got this deck and then I started watching videos after I got it, like, flip throughs and people who either owned it a while as the videos I was really paying attention to, they really enjoyed the deck, and the guidebook is good. It's really good. So I'm hoping to work more with this deck in my professional readings, but also doing more reading labs as we explore color and what the colors are saying to us in our readings. So that was really exciting to have, like, a deck that just was speaking to me on different aspects of what I'm doing in my professional and personal life. All right. Now this one is an interesting one. Where are you? There you are. Haters Exposed. Got this off of Amazon. It says Haters Exposed, Evil Eye Oracle cards. Wasn't sure about this. I just was like, there are going to be those times where you would be happy you pulled this one off the shelf. And it's true. I've used in all types of readings, and I find that only one or two cards are sufficient when I do a pull. I've recently done a reading, like last night, recent. Here's the card backs. And it was about friendships, new friendships, old friendships, and like, how is this person navigating this friend situation, because there's issues that are happening in their friend group. And I pulled this one down and I pulled one card and it just spoke clearly to what the issue was. So I've used it in those type of readings for clients. I've used it in mysterious circumstance readings and even on the hotlines. But for me, in my reading practice, only one or two cards is necessary. Any more than that, it convolutes the message, in my opinion. Now, some people might find that their process is different when working with this deck. And that's okay, because we all have a different process. So this one says, seek someone to learn to do a hex-breaking ritual. It's not going to be for everyone, by the way, or people especially who don't ascribe to that there's haters out there or evil eye. Scorned love. An old fling of your current recent ex-partner still feels deep pain or rejection and betrayal. Tiger's eye. So it has like a key phrase and then a little key message there. Secretly jealous and hating on your romantic relationship. Check out the flip through of this deck that I did, because I did do a very honest, flip through first impressions video of it, the challenges I could see myself personally having with the deck. But I'm happy to report that I overcame those challenges, because I was like, okay, this is how I am to work with this deck and when I'm called to work with it. Am I always going to have it on the reading table like some of my other ones? No. But sometimes I'll say, that's the one I need to pull down. And that's what happened last night, for an example. Beware of anyone from the past wanting to enter back into your life. causing you to miss out, lose an opportunity. So it's something different. And here's the thing about the decks on Amazon. I'm always cautious about purchasing decks on Amazon because if there was an original deck that the creator on Amazon copied from, I would rather buy it from the original creator. But I couldn't find, and maybe you all can enlighten me, I couldn't find someone who specifically made this particular deck. If you do know, please leave it in the comment section because, again, I would prefer to support the creator, the original creator, but I couldn't find an original creator, so I don't know. It says the person hating on you has narcissistic behavior. I'm also this believer that sometimes narcissism is overused, as is the term gaslighting, been overused. It's been, not being overused, been overused. And so I have to think about when narcissism cards come up. It's like, I don't know. That's always the case with people. Don't know. Let's see what else we have. We have our last Oracle deck. Okay. And then we're going to move into Tarot. So, this last one. As soon as it came to my house, I used it for all kinds of readings. And I love it. It surprised me. This is one of those ones that was like, I can't believe I didn't use you all this time, or that I ignored getting you, or whatever the case may be. But let's talk about it. So it's the Tea Leaf Fortune cards. I got this, what, a month ago, maybe now. It's a US Game Systems deck, and it's round, and it's a lot of them. It's 200 cards. I keep it on my reading table. I use it for all kinds of readings, readings for myself, readings for clients, readings for my private clients that come through my website or Etsy, or readings on the hotlines, readings with this. I haven't done a lot of mystery mystic readings with it because I just haven't done a lot of mystery mystic readings as of late. But this deck right here very much surprised me. I have to break it up, obviously, to shuffle it. And it's quite cool. I don't know. I really like it. If you have this deck, let me know if you have it, and let me know what you think of it. Have you been using it much? And if so, in what ways have you used it? This is tea leaf, so here's the card backs. It's round, which normally would be a stripe for me. So here's yoke, feeling tied down or frustrated. But it gives me jumpers, and that's what I like. With my reading style, I like to shuffle and have a jumping card come out almost immediately. That's a match made in heaven for me when it comes to jumping cards in a deck. And it's 200 cards. That's another thing I love about chunky Oracle decks. There's plenty to, for the universe to pluck out of the deck as I shuffle. And it's accurate. So another way I thought of using this deck is, let's say somebody comes to you for a general reading and you're like, I don't even know where to start on what to hone in on, because when a person comes to you for a general reading, they're like, well, just tell me what you think I need to know. Well, it's like the World Wide Web, sitting at the computer like, what do I need to know? Type that prompt in, or do that in Chat GTP. What do I need to know? Well, it's like a lot that you probably could use knowing. But this could help you hone in on a particular area. You could put one or two cards and then go in a different direction. Or it's great for clarifying. And it's got even a young man, a man, darker toned man. I think they have different kinds of people cards. They have the months of the year. They have different houses cards. I'll show you. Astral house, so it's a different color. It's red, it's green, where the rest of the deck is like red or some other color. And then we have career. So you can shuffle that. Where's the purple? The purples are the months card. Hold on. Hold on. Here's the month. Says it. So I love it. Was not expecting to love it so much. I don't even know. I'm like, I saw a couple of readers using this deck in particular. I've been thinking about like, what do I want to incorporate on the channel in the coming year? What am I called? What kind of readings am I called to do? And I was like, oh, I would love to take a stab at pick a pull or pick a pile or doing those types of readings. And then so I started naturally watching other people do those type of readings. And then I saw them use this deck and I was impressed. And I was like, oh. So then I started watching reviews, and then the reviews were people telling, you know, different ways of how they work with it. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I started working with it in my professional practice. And this was really rather quickly me connecting with this deck. And now I love it. It just sits on my reading table along with my other favorites. That could be a whole video. What sits on my reading table on a consistent basis? Now we're going to move to tarot. Before we do, hey Adam, how are you? Thank you for joining me today. Yes, yes, yes. And thank you for mentioning about, I'm sure you're talking about this one. Yeah, the back's probably not a fan of. And even, I don't mind text on backs of cards. I don't mind. I put them on the backs of my own cards. But I do find them obtrusive a bit. You know, I feel like they could have just had some sort of, I don't know, something or another, and then maybe just have the haters or whatever. It didn't have to be the same as the cover, but yeah, the backs are probably something people wouldn't desire. All right, let's go back. Now we're moving into tarot, but I realized I didn't get this one, so you're gonna have to watch me bend and get it. Hold on. Gonna move some stuff around. So at the top of the year, I got this one. Talked about it because it was in my top 10 tarot decks that I used in 2024. I still have to record my top oracle decks. I recorded the intro, haven't gotten around yet to actually doing the video, but I've been busy doing client readings, and that takes precedence over anything I'm doing card related. So that'll be out probably next week, my top oracle decks that I used in 2024. But nevertheless, back to the subject at hand. This deck right here, the Mystic Palette Tarot, Chiro Marchetti. No, it's not even U.S. game. Sorry, friends. It is Llewellyn. Llewellyn. And I like it a lot. The only thing I don't like about it is the size. And there's a couple of challenges for me. Sorry, friends. That's not the camera. There's a couple of challenges for me using a deck of this size. For one, I use tarot and oracle combos. So for each question that a querent asks, on the table, I'm devoting tarot and oracle cards. And so it's nice when the tarot cards are standard size and when the oracle cards are tarot standard size. And it makes it like, okay, I can have multiple cards on the table. Also, it's difficult to shuffle, even with my larger hands, woman hands, still kind of difficult to shuffle. So I have to take that into consideration. Why? Because I use jumping cards in my reading practice. I just don't really compromise on it. I've tried and it feels unnatural. So there's that. So there's the card backs. But despite that, I still really like this deck. I like that it's like this matte coating. And I really like the images, and I like the muted tone edition more than I wanted the color one. The color one is gorgeous. The color version of this deck, gorgeous. But I prefer this one because I don't have enough of this color in my collection. Hey, Robin, how are you? Hello. Missed all of the oracle, grabbing my popcorn for the tarot. Yay, yay. Thank you for joining me and hanging out with me today. I appreciate you. Check out Robin's Reflections channel. Just delightful. Whenever I'm like, oh, I wonder if Robin has this deck, then that's my go-to spot now for looking through flip throughs or combo videos and collection videos. Check out Robin's Reflections. Robin with a Y. Thank you. Here's the two. Oh, sorry, friends, and I'm on the wrong banner. Got to get used to it. There is, or this is the Mystic Palette Tarot. So to me, this deck would be hands down one I would want to use all the time if the size was smaller. Just keeping it real. Do I forgive it for its larger size? Yes. Do I make concessions on other decks I get in my collection? Yes. But I wish, right? We can always have a wish. That's the devil. Look at the apple. Ace of Pentacles. It's gorgeous. But yeah, that's the only bright. If they did a mini version, which I hope that Llewellyn does at some point, I would get this one as a mini version. There's Ace of Cups. Let's see if I can find anything else I want to share. There's a Knight of Cups. It's not everybody's bag, and I get it. But I love it. And I used it surprisingly enough, quite a bit in readings. I did use it a few times for private readings, private client readings, like a handful of times on the hotlines. And then for my membership, like members, I like to do readings once a week for them. I use this deck from time to time as well. So it got used and it held up well for the usage I got out of it. But yeah, the size is a deterrent from using it. And that's after owning it for almost a year now, because I got it, I think, in January 2024, I think. So yeah, a deterrent, but I still will use it. And I still like it. I have even larger tarot decks that are like larger, like wide and tall, and that makes it really impossible. So now my criteria when I'm looking for a deck to get, because I'm planning to also use it, not just to collect it, if it's too wide and too tall, I just won't get it. I just don't. I don't care how much I love the artwork. That's where I'm at in my collecting habits. The next deck is an interesting one, but I have a specific need for it in my reading practice. And that is this one, the Food Fortunes Tarot. So I've used this one, surprisingly enough, a few times. And I think it comes with a little guide. And some people are like, how do you use this? I'm not using this like a traditional tarot, by the way. Here's the card backs. So I do conception readings. And sometimes people want to know about what their cravings might be. Sometimes I get wholeness and wellness like reading requests where people want to know how to, bring about more wellness. And obviously diet goes into it. So I have like a healthy foods oracle deck. And then I have like a deck like this. It's like, okay, you may want to lay off the chowder. Okay. We see you like a lot of comfort foods. But You might have to lay off, or you might need to incorporate more of this. Sometimes if it's a self-care reading and someone is like, they're feeling lost, alone, and just needing some comfort, then, nothing wrong with a little comfort food in moderation. This is the hot mess. So the names obviously have been changed, but what I was after was food and cool little graphics for it. Queen of Mains, turkey. Ace of Sweets. So I thought out a food deck. But earlier this year, I was like, I need food decks. And then it ended up being like, oh, there's that food deck. There's the gourmet tarot. There's all these different ones. The ones I started seeking them out. But by that point, I had already gotten this one. So I was like, this will do. Ace of Sides. Fountain. Lay off the carbonated drinks. The sweet stuff. The dip. Blanco dip. Another sweets card. Queen of Sweets. Woo! I could eat a really good cake right now. Yes, I could. That's what I want to do next week, is get some baking. I don't have any like baking pans, and I just haven't bought it. I just go to a French bakery and get my desserts. But I'm feeling called to make a cake. This a moist homemade cake. Fallen. So yeah, totally different. I get it. Not gonna want this deck, but I had a specific need in my practice, and it worked. It worked, and I use it. Don't use it all the time, but when it's time, I'm so grateful I have it in my collection. Okay. Let's see. You're welcome. I love your channel. Yes, yes, yes. I love it, love it, love it. I have the indie version of this deck, but it's still a bit larger than Tarot, so I'm not sure it will solve the issue. Yes. Smaller, though. Oh, that's good to know. I'm assuming you're talking about the Mystic Palette. Because I did toy with the idea, because there's a window of time sometimes when the Tarot deck is going from indie to mass market. Some mass market publishers will say, no, I'm buying all the rights. I don't want you selling off your indie versions. Forget that. You're not doing that. So the creator just, gets, I don't know how they get rid of their last stash of decks. But nevertheless, there's that window of time. I always try to get the indie decks right before it goes to mass market, because the creators will still have a stash of decks. And that would have been, I had a golden opportunity. I haven't checked Chiro's website if the indie is still available or not. But it's smaller though. That's good to know. That Food Fortunes deck has been in and out of the get rid of box so many times. I think you told me that, but when I first got it. At this point, I'm just keeping it as one of my food decks as a collectible. Exactly. So if I would have saw the Gourmet Tarot deck, truth be told, I probably would have chose that particular food deck before this one, but it just worked out. I needed something quickly, and the Gourmet Tarot took forever to go from the Kickstarter to the pre-order stage, and I just couldn't wait. So I ended up getting this one, and then it's like now it's kind of like, how do I justify getting another food deck? I can, but I really, you all, I don't want a lot of decks just sitting on my shelf not being used. I already have that. I don't want that. I really want I want to be intentional about the decks that I had. So it's making me super happy that the decks so far I've been sharing with you, I have been using, with the exception of the Wandering Soul Oracle. I have plans to connect with the Lenormand, and the Tarot deck I have from the same creator next year. Like, I want to do specific like readings with it and dig into it. But everything else I've mentioned so far, and will mention in the next decks that I share with you today, I've been with. And that's been important to me, so I feel like it's heavy on the junk food. It is heavy on the junk food. And I wanted it also for that purpose too, the food fortunes. Most of my clients, there's a handful throughout the world, you know, those who speak English or who has an ability to translate my readings into their language. But most of the people I read for probably is like me, have a lot of access to junk food. And so I wanted something to honor that and to recognize that. All right, so let's get back to it. I only have, let's see, I have more to share with you all. Okay, so next one was gifted to me. Where are you? There you are. This one was gifted by Spiritual Love Tarot, Giovanna. I am so thankful that she gifted me this deck because it was on my wish list. And some people were like, I cannot believe you would get the Biblical Tarot. And I wanted it. Like, I do have a Christian background. I make no secret about it. I also make no secret that I don't plan to join any form of organized religion again. But there's some things that are part of my background that I appreciated from that time and space with organized religion. And I also can appreciate the biblical stories for that, what they are, right? They are stories. Just say that. But I really like this deck, and I'm hoping to get to know it more. I haven't done a deck flip through yet. I talked about it a couple of times on the channel, and there's a guidebook that's separate. You can purchase it separately. I plan to get, and once I get that, I want to do more of a deep study with this deck. There's the card. That's pretty. It's not available on Amazon or, you know, probably some other mass seller. There's traditionally the full. It's not been shuffled because I'm waiting for the time to spend to get to know it a bit better and to do a proper deck flip through review. Once I get the guidebook and spend some time with it, I want to approach it a little differently than just a deck flip through. I want to see what are my ways of working with this deck. The Magician Moses. I grew up hearing a lot of these biblical stories. Family members, you know, just rambling off scriptures at the top of their head. High priestess, and I just never fit in. Never fit in. The Empress, Mary, Mother of Jesus. The Emperor, King Solomon. Stunning artwork in the colors, and it's good cardstock. It's glossy, but it's like, I can tell it'll shuffle well. It's published by, I think it's self-published, but it's on Amazon. It's what when I looked it up a while back. High Priest, which is the Hierophant. The Lovers, Adam and Eve, the original sin. Hey. The Chariot, wow. Pharaoh's Pursuit. So I am looking forward to connecting with this deck. I've even thought about, like, for those of us who have it, maybe somehow, some way, on the channel or off channel or in our Facebook group, on Abundant Life Tarot Facebook group, doing some sort of study. I know religion in our community is a sore spot, and I recognize and honor that because it was a sore spot for me for a while, but I'm at a different point in my journey where I'm like, it was a sore spot. It's not as traumatizing for me, and there are some parts I don't want to just throw away forever. So we'll see what this deck can unlock for me. This is Strength. I love this story from the Bible. Daniel in the Lion's Den. I had a children's book. I had a little Daniel, little boy that was named Daniel that fell to the lion's den. So kind of nostalgic. The Hermit, John the Baptist. Look at the colors. Let's do one more. Will within a will, cycles of life. So it's quite the deck. And so even if you're not religious, but you can approach the Bible, for example, from a more historical approach to like viewing it, or like, oh, it's a great piece of literary art. You could approach it that way. You don't necessarily have to buy into the dogma of religion with it. You really don't need to be a Christian to use it, from what I gather. And those who have this deck, you can share that, your take on that, justice, the 10 Commandments. So we'll stop there. Yeah, because the next one is Peter's crucifixion. So one of these days I will do a proper deck flip through, but I want to get my hands also on the little deck. And it does come with a guidebook, by the way. It's not like without. And you don't need the guidebook to use it. The standalone one that's on Amazon. But I sometimes I feel called to get the standalone guidebooks, not all the time, but for this deck, for some reason, I'm feeling called to. Okay. Ooh, that's some fun ones next to share with you all. There you are. You all know I've been gushing over this one for a while. The Curious Travels Tarot deck, the indie version. I'm not going to do a big flip through of it because I've been, like I said, gushing over it. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Just can't stop using it. Another deck that I was happy to add to the collection. Let's see what I want to share with you all. It's just so delicious to shuffle and love it. What can I say? That's all I can say. Pentacles. I won't go into too many of the card shares because I did do a flip through recently of this deck. So to save time and keep it moving, we're just going to keep it moving. So the Eight of Swords has like the muted gold accent. In the mass market, the gold is more shinier. So one of the things that steered me towards getting this particular version or edition was because I like the mutedness of the gold accent versus the garish gold accent. Not that it, like, let's say there was no indie version of the Curious Travels, I would gladly get the mass market. But since there was an indie version available and I got it in that sweet spot before the creator runs out of their indie stock, I chose this one and I'm glad. And I use it all the time. I use it multiple times a week since I got it. And it's a great deck that I've added to the collection I really enjoy using. And yeah, that's the Curious Travels. Now this next share is going to be fun. The throwback, but let me see. I got a lot of stuff stacked on it. Okay. So y'all know, if you've been around my channel for a while, you know how much I love the Light Seers tarot. So Hay House was having a sale, so I got the pocket edition of this finally. I've had so many copies of the mass market edition. 3 copies, I think. Then I have the original indie version with the original 10 of Swords. And I'm happy I got the one in the 10 because I like the cardstock way better in the little mini version than I do the mass market full size edition. It comes with a guidebook. Don't really need it. I've got like 3 of these floating around. I got one in my nightstand because I get all these different copies because I was using the deck so much I was wearing them out. I got one up on the shelf. I have them in one in the purse. They're so handy. And so now I have this cute little deck. But what prompted me to get this was this bad boy. Chris-Anne wrote a book, and OMG. Tarot for Light Seers, a journey through the symbols, messages, and secrets of the card. I do plan on somehow, some way, us figuring out how to work with some spreads, going through each pages of this book. I am such a fan of Light Seers. You all know if you've hung out with me a long time, and this is just the cherry on top. This book is so amazing. Let me know if you had it. Like she's a minor Hannah. Like Chris-Anne is amazing when it comes to creating decks, artwork, guidebooks, spreads. Like she's just phenomenal. And the symbolism that she explores in each of the cards, this could be on your coffee table. Well, if you are living alone or you have a family that's acceptable of tarot books on your coffee table, but look at it. Look at it. So I got it during the Hay House sale, so it was very inexpensive. And let me just kind of So this inspired me to get the pocket edition, and I'm so glad because I'm enjoying the cardstock. Hay House needs to go on and take the same cardstock, whatever they did with this, and put it in the full size. Just amazing. And let me know if you all have it. She says, "Dearest Light Seer," so she has a message for us, the Light Seer. Just let me see. There's something I wanted to share with you all that I thought was cool. So if you have this book, let me know. The spreads are amazing. Tons of spreads. The Ancestral Healing spread, Calling Love spread, Lightworker Activation spread, the Anxious Loop spread, The Root, I Am, Why Am I Feeling Fear and Anxiety? Embrace it. I am safe. A loving message to my heart and mind. Transmute it. I am love. Compassionate action steps of transformation and change. Heal it. I am here. Illuminate the path towards healing. If you've ever had the pleasure of working with Chris-Anne in one of her workshops, she's so generous, by the way. Take that opportunity because she is just phenomenal. She's down to earth, my experience, and it's just, I just love everything she creates. I'm a fan. What can I say? Epic Mission and Badass Dreams spread. We could do that together. You know, I love us doing collective spreads together. And then she goes into details with the full symbolism, the Light Seers meaning. So some people are like, well, I already have the guidebook from the mass market or the indie version. The indie version is a great guidebook. This goes even more. It's like also a reflective of her looking back at her creation of the Light Seers. It's not just her in the throes of the creative process of creating the deck. It's like looking back at what she's created. So she infuses her own insights from that experience into it, which I appreciate. I'm going to show you. She's got a spread for it. It looks like, at least for the majors. So I'm going to be having some fun working with this book. And I can't say enough about it. I can't. I think she had, I thought, so for the minors, she'll go into depth about the symbolism. And as we know, as tarot readers, the card preceding the card you're looking at and the card that comes after it has important information. They interact with each other, you know, if you incorporate numerology in your readings. And so I love that. She, you know, talks about that here. She's got the Ace of Swords and the Two of Swords. I was super stoked. This is like a Christmas present to myself. So I'll be working with the little pocket edition and super happy about that. I cannot, for some reason, bear to work with the indie version. Try as I might. But I had to retire my most recent Light Seers copy because it got beat up so bad. And the last thing I got was, since I wanted to just add a little something, but I've been eyeing this all year, was the Moonology Calendar 2025 by Yasmin Bolin. And I normally get the little diary each year, but I wasn't doing all the exercises and I felt like it was a waste, like just to buy and, you know, so I was like, well, maybe I will really appreciate the calendar. For some reason, I didn't bring the butter knife in here and I can't. Maybe what I'll do is take some pictures and show you once I have it set up. But I got this with my little Light Seers pocket tarot and my book from Chris-Anne. We won't go too long into that. Now, we got how many more decks? 3. Another one that pleasantly surprised me was this one, friends, and I've been using this one nonstop since I got it as well. When Women Had Wings. This is a U.S. Game Systems deck, and I'm obsessed. It is larger than the traditional tarot size, but because it has a forgiving cardstock, it's easy to riffle shuffle for the most part, and it's even easy to overhand shuffle so I can get jumpers. But it just has been speaking to me. And when I did the deck flip through, I didn't even really get a chance to show you all the guidebook. It's just so good. So good. But it's not even just because, oh, it's full color. There are no spreads, but there's unique aspects to this guidebook that are not to be missed. Memory of Wings. When Women Had Wings. Let's see if I can show you what I liked about it. So Memory of Wings, there's like even like a little poem here. It's the story of when women had wings and what the universe was like, what the world was like when they had wings. When basically the divine feminine energy was at the helm of what we do in the universe, if that ever happened, if we could imagine, right? Gilding is still, it's kind of getting beat up because I've been using it, but it's still shiny, it's still pretty. Corners are a little, starting to get a little off. Just gorgeous. Love to see it on my reading table. Love the messages that come through. Very clear. I don't know. I saw it, had to have it, and I was like, I don't know why. It's not necessarily something I go towards, but it's special. And that's what I was saying. Like most of the decks that I have here, with the exception of like 1, maybe 2, I have been so glad that I added it to the collection because I'm using them. I am not just a deck collector. I am a reader, first and foremost now. Collector second. And I don't want to fill my shelves up with rows and rows of decks that I'm not using. Devil. Love this 4 of Cups. Wintry 4 of Cups. But yeah, used it last night in a reading. Sung to me. It's beautiful. And not just beautiful, it reads well. And I forgive the larger tarot signs. I forgive, not happy, wish it was traditional size, but then on the other hand, sometimes the problem with the traditional size tarot is that the artwork, you can't quite capture all the gloriousness of it. So it's a give and take, you know, but that's when women had wings, and I'm loving it. I don't even know, but let me keep it out of the box. I only put it in the box so I could take it out of the box for y'all today, but she going back on the table. I'm gonna stick you over here. She's going back on the table. And the guidebook is so amazing. Sometimes I'll go, since I got it, I'll take it to bed with me and just read a few of the pages. Just take it in and go to sleep. Yeah, so super happy I added this one to the collection, and they sent a little bag. Same thing with this one. They have like a little gold, not a little, a huge gold little bag to hold the cards, but I'm just gonna keep it in the box or on my reading table. It has been on my reading table since I got it. So that means a lot. Once they make it to the reading table, they in it to win it. They are part of the chosen few to make it to the reading table. Okay. This one almost gave me a heart attack. I just got it. But I'll tell you I'll just briefly share the heart attack moment. It's this one. It finally made it. Magical Nature Tarot. Ordered it off Etsy. Love this one so much. I know it's been out for like a year and some change. People have had it. The guidebook is on the website of the creator. And I thought that my courier had lost it. I thought they lost my deck. And I was kind of sick over it because, well, indie. And I got it off. I got it on sale. It was like a Black Friday sale. Get the card backs. So I got a great deal on it. And then, you know, I don't know how many copies that the creator has. And I was like, oh no. Anywho, I had to pull it together, get my Google Translator out, and try to sort out what happened. Why is my package no longer showing in their system? Where's my deck? And I had to explain to him it's a card of decks. Because at first they kept saying this is a letter. I'm like, no, it's a deck of cards, card of decks, deck of cards. And they found it somewhere in their little warehouse, and I'm like, that's why I don't like ordering decks all willy-nilly either, because it's literally like biting my nails until it gets into my hot little hands, because I have no control. I mean, we all don't have control, but especially when it's coming from the US to the DR. So I just don't take it lightly anymore just to be ordering decks all over the place. Yes, I may order mass market a little bit more because it's like, it's a lower financial, investment and risk, but yeah, you're not gonna like $100 deck. Yeah. It's just until it's in my high hands. I love it though. This is also, I have to thank Beth Asperia Rising, our friend. And she mentioned it and put me up on game that this deck was out, and said that she and I share similar tastes. And she was like, "You're gonna love this deck." And then I think she put me on that there was a sale going. Anyways, it all was kismet. It all worked out. And once it came in my hands, the way it shuffles, the way it treats me, I did do a deck flip through, so I'm not going to bore you all with a full flip through of this deck here, because I did record a quick combo video. It plays really well. Where are you? With the Illuminated Earth Oracle. Oh my God. Here's the moon. If you're in the market for a deck that feels like handcrafted, and it is handcrafted. Like the artist energy is imbued in this deck, and it's beautiful energy. And you're tired of the graphicness of like graphic arts or AI imagery. This is it. Like I've used it in client readings since I got it. Like it's been a few days, but already like for me to feel comfortable enough to use it in client readings, even on the hotlines, says a lot about the deck and how like it's like a nice cozy blanket and hot cocoa on a cold wintry day kind of energy to it. I don't know how else to describe it, but it is. Here's Ten of Wands. It's gorgeous. And so look, here's the illuminated earth. You know the illuminated earth. I don't have the box on the card back to the illuminated earth. I don't have a box, but let's just show you. This says destruction and then Ten of Wands. Look at that. So I've been using this deck combo in client readings, and it's just in readings for myself, and it's just been fire, magic, just so I won't spoil that, but I have to say these two are so far my favorite additions to tarot decks in my collection. I'm very picky about my tarot decks that I have. Very picky. I'm going to be even pickier in 2025. I have a budget too. Will it be $250 again? I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Maybe $300 since I spent $295 versus $250, or maybe I keep it at $250 and just say, no, girl, you stick to what you. Yeah. But yeah, that is the Magical Tarot deck, and the last one was gifted to me by one of my dear members, and I'm always a proponent of folks who are either new or seasoned to get a deck that has keywords on it, a tarot deck. And so I have my busted version, this edition, so I use it all the time. And then one of my Voice Elite members on Ko-fi sent me this deck. You can get it on Amazon. It's beginner tarot cards. Has a guidebook too. Other little cool little things to it. So it has a guidebook, but really with a deck with keywords, you're good. What's good about a deck with keywords is if you're practicing or you're wanting to, just keep working with tarot and keep practicing, it's great. If you are experiencing psychic fatigue when you're doing a bunch of readings day after day, and sometimes you're just like, what is the world again? Oh, celebration. It says harmony, wholeness. One of the keywords that's not listed here that I associate with the world is completion, right? And it's got reverse meanings. And so it's way prettier. It's got yes and no. Earth element, it says. It's way prettier than, say, my Whimsy Busted, and it's a little bit better card style. So sometimes I'll pull this new one that my member sent me out when I'm like doing an in-person reading and not this one. Yeah, but anyhow. So when new readers speak, they ask me, what deck should I get, or where should I start? If I had to do it all over again, I would still, be a proponent of reading many tarot books and watching many videos on YouTube, but also getting your hands on a deck with keywords sooner than later and practicing and doing your readings. And then you'll start to get comfortable, because it can be disconcerting when you always feel like you have to consult the guidebook, and it can give you a little bit more of a confidence boost when you have the cards right in hand and you can just see one keyword that kind of kicks off an intuitive train of thought. Does that make sense? So that was gifted to me as well. So I had 2 decks that were gifted to me, but the rest I bought. So I basically bought 10 decks, $295. Yay me. How'd y'all do this year? What was on your list? You're on your wish list. What did you get from your wish list? What you purchased that you were excited about, Oracle or Tarot, or even Lenormand? Share. We want to hear from you. Let's see what the comments say. Let's see. Adam says, Biblical Tarot really surprised me. It's a fascinating deck. I love the sun and the star cards. It's kind of triggering, but I love a challenge. It really can work as a tarot and oracle from the words. Exactly. And I'm glad you have it, Adam. Maybe we can do a little something or another in the new year with it together, since we have the copy. The Biblical Tarot. This one. It can be triggering, but a lot of times in society we're like, we hate to be triggered, don't trigger us. But being triggered can't be helped. I don't know about y'all. Like sometimes I'm triggered. I watched on 90 Day Fiance, this Russian young lady. She was recovering 2 weeks after a C-section, and that triggered me because I've had 4 C-sections, and so I was like, oh, I'm like, oh, but then it also helped me to keep my humanity about myself and to feel empathy for her and to remember all that I went through. So yeah, sometimes being triggered is not pleasant. I've been triggered on much more catastrophic things, not just a C-section, a surgery, but near-death experiences. But again, that's part of the human experience. You're not going to escape being triggered. I wish I could say that that's the case and we can put ourselves into little bubbles and then we're not triggered. That's just not possible. What we can do is support each other when we are triggered. Raman's reflection says, I have been issuing the Biblical Tarot all month long. And okay, so you've been using the Biblical Tarot all month long and you love it. I also love the Curious Travels Tarot. So beautiful, right? I really feel like I scored this year in 2024 with my decks. Like, yay me. Not a 1, except for one that I intentionally plan to work with its little sister decks. But everything else has a warm little spot in my collection. It's good to know you have that deck too. So I'll keep that in mind when I'm thinking of like, what spreads can we do with the Biblical Tarot? What can we do? Adam says, I'm jealous. I so need that When Women Have Wings Tarot next on my list. It's a bit like If the Moon Does Tarot. Adam, you always have the best recommendations. Okay, so it's a bit like If the Moon Does Tarot and the Good Tarot had a GQ model baby. I will have to look up The Moon Does Tarot. And I do have I don't know. I did have I once had the Good Tarot. I did, by Colette Baron Reed, artist by Gina Degla Grataglia, probably mispronouncing her name. She is the artist for this deck, for When Women Have Wings. I did have the Good Tarot for a while, but then I passed it on. I think I sold it or something like that. And Good Tarot, but I had an issue, I think, with that one, with the Good Tarot, with all of the images feeling very stationary, and they're just like looking at you. And in this one, it felt a bit different with the artwork. Like there's people interacting with one another. I don't know. It could just be a me thing. But I'd like a little bit, if I'm going to have people in it, I need a little bit more than just you modeling at me and staring at me. I don't know. That's just me. I don't have the Lumina. Heard about it for years. And I know now it's mass market, right? Don't have it yet. And then of course I'm like, well, should I try to get the indie version? Mm-mm. So I think that might be one that could work for me too. Hey, G Golden, welcome. Okay, so you're going to be getting the gold. Okay, so I'm getting a pulse on how many of us have the biblical tarot. Because you remember how I used to do tarot studies? This might be one that we could take a stab at. What do you think? Have you tried the Future Ancestor Tarot? Something's telling me this one would work well for you. Oh, Future Ancestor Tarot. So this is what happens. Adam and I get together. This is what happens. Then I'm off to look. Oh my goodness. No, it's on the second edition. Oh, it's cute. Okay. I won't bore you all with that. I'm going to check that out. It'll probably be going on my 2025 deck wish list. You know what I'm saying? How I am, Donna. Welcome here. Thank you for joining me. I'm still here, just wrapping up. Went through all of my decks that I collected this year. That 2 were gifted, the rest were my little purchases. My most exciting purchase and biggest splurge was the Tarot of Oneness. It's been on my list forever. I don't feel I went too overboard this year, but I would like to reduce again next year by half. Good for you. We can do that together because I too, I don't want to go crazy. I don't want to spend or do more than what I did in 2024. I really, really am feeling called to get to know the decks that I have. I'm probably sitting at about 250 decks, which it feels like a lot more. It really does. But on the other hand, I'm glad it's not much more because I don't know. And then I'm one of those people that just when I get to liking a deck, I just use it over and over again, and others get neglected. And then I feel away about having so many decks. And I know I have many friends in our community who have way more decks than 250, but they feel completely okay with their number. For me, I feel great with my number, but I don't want to add more. If anything, I want to shrink it a little or just keep it at the number that it's at. But congratulations, Donna, on the Tarot of Oneness. I'm super duper excited because a couple of my friends sent me the link so I can get the Oracle of Oneness. It's ready for pre-order, and we're going to be getting a little companion situation going on. So, my favorite motif is the succulent. So it had to be in the collection. I really enjoy this deck. I enjoy using it this year. I got it in 2023, and I did a similar thing that I'm doing now with the Oracle. Whereas once it went off Kickstarter, there's that window of time that it goes from Kickstarter to pre-order, and I like to order that first pre-order after the Kickstarter, so you're still getting the first edition, but not having to do all the waiting because I'm not as patient as I used to be. I'm patient, but not that patient anymore. So Kickstarters are kind of challenging for me. I think it's just the nail biting, not the process of the creation of it, but then the shipping of it. It just is nerve wracking for me because I've had a couple of decks that were shipped here that are not here. They just disappeared. And so it's anxiety around it. So picky. I'm going to be getting the Oracle of Echoes, hopefully, around my birthday in February. So yeah, friends, that is my 2024 deck haul. And I knew I was going to have fun. I just love sharing what I got. I want to welcome my new subscribers. Thank you all so much for finding me. And also my near and dear day ones, abundant lifers. Y'all in this with me. You've been here. Thank you. And also, please don't forget to like the video. It helps me immensely. And share the video. you know, people are like, oh, I need some deck recommendations and things of that nature. Many of the videos I make this time of year, each year, is a tradition on the channel, um, is decks I would recommend. It's because I've felt called to, I vetted these decks. I did deck interviews with these decks or about these decks. I use these decks a lot. So my end of the year videos that I do surrounding my deck collection are typically decks I would definitely recommend to you time and time again. So if you know people who are in the market for decks, you can share some of my videos. And I don't always do deck stuff. Like I do readings with the decks too. So it's not just me buying decks and gushing over new decks. Yeah, yeah. So I just thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. If you're catching the replay, please leave a comment sharing what decks were in your haul this year that you're excited about, and let us be excited with you. I'm a little behind on my comments, not, you know, I'm trying to be much more present with my comments because I enjoy them. What happens is I get the comments, they come through on my, like a little notification on my phone. I'm like, oh, what so-and-so said something to me. And then more notifications come through, and then the ones that I care about disappear. So then I have to sit down and then respond to comments later. But next week is Christmas week, and I'm planning on just chilling and reading comments from y'all. So yeah, let me see. Adam says, I've been using Elemental North Tarot Mass Market deck a lot recently. It's quite an unusual one. Thank you. This is why I like doing these lives, because it gives other people ideas. Elemental North. I don't think I've heard of that one. I'll have to check it out. Donna says, I wouldn't have a Kickstarter shipped to me in Europe either because of taxes. That's the other thing, the customs fees and whatnot, taxes. Luckily, I can have them sent to my friend family. Requires even more patience, though it does. No matter how you slice and dice it, or dice and slice and dice. Patience. And and when I was in the US, I didn't have, you worry a little bit about shipping, especially if I'm in the US and I order like a deck out of Europe, New Zealand, Australia, or somewhere, you know, far away. You still worry, but now it's extra because a lot can happen between Miami and Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. Just saying. Ciao, family. I thank you all so much for joining me, and you all have a great rest of your day, night, morning, whenever you're watching this, and I will see you all around in the next one. Bye.